Hey everybody, this is Talkative Carl back again for another movie spoiler review. And I think we were coming at the end of the month, and I think we need to wind things down from the more horror, or at least like less slasher, more like I want to say it was like only one slasher, but less graphic type of horror related films and more easygoing, child friendly type of film. And something I've been wanting to get into last year but never had the chance to. But the Disney Channel, today I want, at least this month, I want to cover at least two Disney Channel direct to I wouldn't direct the video, but directly to the Disney Channel original movie films. I think I'll do a couple of more next year, but one being Phantom of the Megaplex. And man, if you're like of a certain age, when if you're in your 30s to maybe early 40s, you will recall the Disney Channel, early late 90s, early 2000s films, like Halloween Town, that like I covered the first two. I think I only covered the first one. I never did the sequel. Maybe I'll do that next year. um uh of Halloween Town, I needed, because just like Halloween Town, which is probably like the biggest one that people very love, but then it continued on until like maybe like the fourth or fifth one, where it got really stale. I think like the first two are the really solid ones, but after a while, it's like, yeah, they probably needed to like dial it back, or at least put a stop to it. I think like the third one probably should have been like the final in terms of trilogy, especially after the actress who played Marnie stopped playing the role. I think it was fairly a good idea to like, okay, I think we should stop. But anyway, I want to cover Phantom of the Megaplex, uh starring Tyler Hanley as Pete Riley, Caitlin Wax as Karen Riley, the 11-year-old sister. Pete is 17 years old. Jacob Smith as Brian Riley, the 10-year-old brother. Uh, uh, Corny, Coronai, or I just say Corny, Bauer as Julie Riley, the widowed mother. John Novak as George, the boyfriend. We got Mickey Rooney, the late Mickey Rooney, as Movie Mason, or just Mason. Rich Hutchman as Sean McGibbon. Colin Fox as Wolfgang Niedermeyer. Ellen Ray Hennessy as Tori Hicks. Carlo Rota as Tyler Jesseman, the director of Midnight Mayhem. Eric Hempshell as Lamika. Now we get to like the other extras, at least the employees of this megaplex. The, what's the word? Their name, I think the movie kind of knows, but it's still kind of corny, where it's like, okay, characters based off, their archetype or behaviors. So we got Ricky Mabe as Ricky Leary, or Ricky Rules, who is obsessed with, rules, or everything going by the book. Julia Chantry as Tori Tatura, or Scary Terry, who likes telling scary stories. Joanne Bolin as Hillary Horan as Hillary Honey, uh, who's described as like, you know, your mom or your aunt in like a teenage body. Keep calling her everybody sweetie and honey. Don't know what's that about. Like, uh, JJ Stalker as Mark Jeffries or question mark, who every time he's, you know, asked something, he always follows it up with a question. Lisa Ng as Lacey Ling or Racy Lacey. She moves very quickly and speaks very quickly. Now we got Joe Pangi as Merle, the theater head projectionist, who you know, has a habit of saying too complicated of an answer when he's asked a question. More so, it'd be more accurate to describe this guy as like, you know, Michael Rappaport's, you know, brother or something, because he just talks like Michael Rappaport to me. We got Heather Bertram as Caitlin, a girl Pete has a crush on. Okay, well that's like pretty much the major players here, and of course there's a bully or rival named Donnie who played by Jeff Berg, but you know, he doesn't have much screen time. So I just want to take a moment to explain to you what I feel about these little extras. Just like, it's very Scooby-Doo. You know, you gotta have like an ensemble of people who you don't know which is, you're trying to solve a mystery. You're trying to figure out who's the criminal among this, you know, titular cast. And it's like, I get it. It's only like an 89-minute movie, but it's just like, you know, I don't know. This is, even after rewatching Halloween Town, the other cast has a bit of layers to them beyond just certain archetypes. It's like, you know, like you know, Hillary Honey is like, and it's like, I don't know. You gotta give. They don't need an arc, but you gotta offer more than just like you give them screen time and the only thing they do is just their thing, and it seems kind of, you know, boring. You know, not boring, but it's kind of, you know, how to put it. It doesn't drag. It's not boring, but it's just lame. And you just, you know, use them as like props to add to the comedy. It's like, you know, but there is a moment in the film where Hillary Honey and Scary Terry, I keep saying that, I cannot help but think about Rick and Morty. Was like, I'm Scary Terry. You can run, but you can't hide, bitch. That's all I think about now. And Scary Terry is like, is this like a feature? Is not, no shade to the actress, but it's just like, as a kid, when I first watched this, I was like, where's her chin? It's like this. It was like, you know, it's like her chin was caved in or something like that. It's like, do you have a jaw? But there was like this moment where it kind of reminds me of the first Scream movie, where there's two people in the bathroom and they think it's like, you know, the Phantom, and like get out of there, call the cop, get out of there, I'll call the cops. And I was waiting, like, if somebody clip this between, like, you know, this scene with the scene in Scream where it just Scream puts, you know, feet down and then like the cloak falls, you know, the bottom of the cloak just drapes and just come, you know, Ghostface come running out. That would have been like amazing. But it just turns out to be two teenage girls sneaking into this premiere, even though certain people will also be out by a certain point. Anyway, uh this movie's narrated by uh Pete, who is the assistant manager uh, of this megaplex, and he is trying to make sure everything, because he's working like a dog, because he has this kind of like a plan for himself, and he's interested in this girl Caitlin, who he's trying to impress. And maybe just my adult brain thinking this now, looking back on this, and it's like, dude, it's like, because you got this rival or this bully who's chastising him or trying to make him look like an idiot because, oh, he worked at like a movie theater, and it's like, bitch, do you have a job? Because like I see a guy who makes money, so can you afford it? It's like, if I was like Pete, and I mean, of course I wasn't like a popular kid in high school too, so I didn't have this mindset, because honestly the stuff that I know, I feel like Tim Roth in the Incredible Hulk movie, if I had the mind I have now and the body I had then, that's when somebody I wouldn't want to mess with, because it's like, can you imagine all the stuff that now in your 30s, and like you go right back to like middle school or high school, you'll be like just probably dominate as like ahead of the game in terms of the way your trajectory you want to go in your life would be, and like you'd be a little more charismatic with the ladies or something like that. You just be like more hip to the game, and you can avoid so many pitfalls, and somebody trying to trash talk you or make you feel like a lame or a loser because you work at a theater. I was like, Pete is like, bruh. I mean, not like Pete. Pete is no like, normally in movies like this, they make like the male lead look like a complete chump. No, he, sticks up for himself, which is like a pretty cool protagonist. It's kind of like, a very young Steve Rogers-ish kind of guy. The only probably area he has to get over is the, he's, overly worked, and his mom points out that, you don't want to get burned out before you're 30. So you kind of like enjoy your childhood a bit. But, he, because the thing, like, I would tell him as well, it's like, dude, you have a job. You can, it's very intimidating for a young boy to go up to a girl that he likes who's very pretty and ask her out on a date, and just walk up there with confidence. There is a chance he'll say no, but she'll just she would appreciate the confidence you will bring, just the fact that hey, my name is so and so, you're in my school, like, I just want to let you know, like, I really like you, like, I want to get to know you more, like, can I take you out sometime, on a coffee date or something like that, or I work at this movie megaplex thing, I can get you. I think he does that. He get her and her friend tickets. But if I was him, I would have arranged for them to get like tickets, so that way when he has a day off, he can go with her, so that way they can have a chill night together, rather than him going in on the, because it is a big day and it is a cool thing for him to bring her along to a big movie premiere day. But I don't know, it just seems like, okay, how long you been working at this Megaplex thing? If it's been a year, I think it's fair to say that you probably saved up for some time off, so that way you can afford to come in on your day off to this big premiere and on an official date with this girl, rather than running around doing all this kind of stuff while she and her friend and this dude who's trying to horn in on your little thing uh you don't have all that stuff all running together on you that you can't really focus. Of course, it pans out in the end for him, but I'm just saying that is something be kind of ideal to do. Anyway, we're getting off tangent here. So, uh, so you meet all these people, and Sean, you know, because I don't know why, because Sean is annoyed by Movie Mason because his family used to own the old theater before it got torn down and the Megaplex was, constructed. And then he's essentially squatting because I'm not sure if he lives in the Megaplex, because there's like a area where he has certain old movie props or something or other. And it's never really established if he just lives here, because essentially he's squatting. Either way, if he's not, he's still showing up to a space where it's like, dude, you're essentially, horning in, like you're trespassing. Either way, you're trespassing. And I don't know why Sean or his bosses don't arrange for the police to, yeah, sure, you may have, well, first of all, you should have gotten some kind of settlement or something or other when that well, at least your family should have, after the old one was torn down. And he loves the movies and everything like that. That's all well and good. I'm not sure why he's still allowed to just come and goes as he please to this theater when he's not supposed to be here. And he needs to get his butt out. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. But he's just like, he is here, and people just like, of course, like, the employees don't mind him being here. He doesn't bother nobody, sure. And he offers to, like, lend a helping hand, and he brings Sean this worksheet that he can step in and help out in certain areas. And Sean files it into the trash. And like, I went Sean on this one, like, even as a kid I was like, why are you here? I was like, sure, you're a cool dude and you like the movies and stuff like that, but if I still got some kind of settlement, they could have done something with that money so that way you can live nicely, or something or other. Like, you're just obsessed. I'm gonna say you're obsessed, but it's like you just can't let it go. And like, it's not like you're disgruntled. Well, that's one of the things where he's one of the suspects, as being one of the Phantoms. Is like, could he be the Phantom? Because he's mad because this new Megaplex took over the old one, and he's disgruntled about what happened to his family. It's never really explicitly explained. Did his family get some kind of settlement, or were they cheated out of the money? It was never explained. It just you can just assume that they should have got some kind of money from being bought out. But anyway, Sean is getting everybody prepared for tonight's world premiere of this Midnight Mayhem. And like, the actor is gonna be here, the director and the owner of the movie theater, all gonna be in attendance to this red carpet affair. And everything I go off perfect. Then he comes to realize, like, I'm not gonna get this high-ranking job position that I was really looking forward to. And he given to some other idiot, So Sean's like, well, we still need to get this thing running. So get prepared and everything like that. And of course, when you see this, a whole large group of people, only the main supporting characters show up. Classic. Because now everybody's, all running all over the place because they're short staffed. And it's like very convenient. And it's like, honestly, if I was like the owner of this whole entire establishment, and I realized, or at least maybe like the, you know, other management, I realized that, you know, a handful of people decide today of all days to call off on like a big premiere that you knew was coming, then I don't know. I don't think it'd be liable for firing, but suspended, or at least something. This all depends on their policy. But it's like, bruh, why would you choose today all days to say, oh, they all called in sick, or they all couldn't make it, or something like that? It's like, then you're all fired, or you're let go, or something like that. Because unless you got like a real good excuse, like, you know, your grandma, you know, just got in the hospital, or you was in some kind of accident, something better be like dead or dying, or your house got on fire, or like, you know, your house is broken into. Something gotta be major going on, you know, to warrant you on this level of like irresponsibility. And most of those people are like a grown ass fucking adults. Oh my god, it was that would have been like so infuriating. Like why today of all days? So you see the mom, and you see like the other members of the family. Obviously dad long past, and he was like a big movie buff, so the kids are super into movies. And you know, I get it. I watch a lot of movies, and I tend to make certain movie quotes in most of my sentences. And it's a cool thing here where it's like cool with the writers of this film, where they have the boyfriend. He's not a joke, not joke, but he's not a joke, he's not a jerk, and the kids actually like him and actually want their mom to be happy and be with this guy because he seems very chill person. So it's like that's a nice little circumventing of the trope of, oh, the stepdad is like a jerk, or he's some kind of bumbling idiot, or you know, he's using the mom, or the kids don't like him, they gotta go through this arc where they go to like him later. It's like, you know, a stark contrast to something like, you know, Freaky Friday, where the daughter has to get used to the idea of the mom being happy with somebody else kind of situation. They get rid of that. It's not even important. It's not the whole crux of the film. It's not even a second tier B plot. It's just like they done with it altogether. So I appreciate that. So it won't be like, because it'll drag for most people. It's a trope that dragged even back then. So I appreciate that. And of course the daughter, Karen, you know, her friends trying to sneak into the premiere, but to this horror movie, I guess, where it's, you know, it's horror but it's PG-13, but the mom obviously don't want her 11-year-old girl to go see a movie that she's not old enough to go see. And of course, we all been there. I mean, like, if you don't have kids now, you know how, like, you were a kid and you did watch certain movies that you really wasn't supposed to watch. It's not like it's porn or anything like that, but it's just like, I remember as a little kid, my father let me watch a lot of stuff that, you know, outside looking in probably wouldn't have been like a good idea, because I was a little kid when I watched like Terminator and Predator, and like definitely wasn't old enough to watch it. Definitely wasn't even 13 when I first watched that stuff. I was like at least, you know, bare minimum 8 years old when I first watched those stuff. And I watched a lot of action movies and, like, you know, certain mystery thrillers and stuff like that. So, you know, and of course my cousins tried to get me to watch certain scary movies. I wasn't really a huge fan of scary movies. I mentioned that plenty of times here. but I watched my fair share, like, at least tangentially scary stuff like Beetlejuice or Nightmare Before Christmas, and stuff like that that's very edgy. But it, my father likes movies too, so like I watch a lot of stuff with him most of the time. So I guess that makes it okay. Uh, um, there's one a little side tangent. There's one time because my fear got the best of me because I didn't know how it was going to turn out. Maybe because I got tricked into the by the trailer. My father took uh, uh, my younger brother. It was like when he was real little. He took my younger brother and a couple of my cousins to go see the first Men in Black movie. Now, everybody wanted me to come along because, like, oh, don't worry, it's just a comedy. It might seem scary, but it's like I was dead set like against it because like the trailer, because the whole bugs and everything like that, because I didn't like bugs, and it's like I am not, like I refuse to go because it's like like I ain't trying to watch that stuff, and I'm a little mixed right now because like of course about the first Man in Black movie and it's like the freaking giant cockroach and stuff like that. I might have been because also they went to get KFC afterwards and stuff like that, but I was they enjoyed the movie and of course the movie is good, but I was just like I didn't want to see no giant bugs. I will not. I was like dead set against that stuff, and I only partially regret it because like they all had a good time, but it's like I don't want to see no giant fucking bugs. It's like I can't. And that giant cockroach, and if you remember it, it's like, oh god, see that on the big screen is freaking terrifying. No, thank you. Anyway, what happened next? So she wants to go see this, movie. Mom's completely against it. She pouting and everything like that, but she calls her friends, completely goes behind her back, and it's like, okay, because they go to the theater, but she wants her to sit with her little brother, go see Farmer Brown that he wants to see. But of course, she wants to just ditch him, so they well, I'll still go. The friend's gonna be there anyway, so I'm gonna make sure he's content watching Farmer Brown while I go to the next theater room to go to see this horror movie with my friends who snuck in, or at least I don't even, technically they did sneak in, but I don't know what they told their parents. Is two other girls. I was like, what you tell your parents in order to get to this theater, and what you think they think you're watching if you're not watching something safer, or where are your separate rooms, because you would be 11, just at least 10 or 11 like Karen, and you should have some kind of chaperone yourselves. So I'm not sure what's that going on. It's not really explained. I think that's kind of a gross negligence on whomever's supposed to be watching these other girls, especially when it gets kind of late. Where like who's looking after these kids? Whatever. It's not like kids sneaking out isn't unheard of, but that's like how far is this theater from the house? It's this whole kind of thing is very irresponsible and hard to not get in trouble. But anyway, so Brian makes a kind of deal with the sister in order to say, okay, you do I think like these chores or whatever like that for me for next week, and like buy me all these snacks, and then okay, cool. So and then Pete's supposed to watch them here and there, at least until, because the mom is going out on another date with this guy, or at least a date, but it's just like just a night out with this guy. I'm pretty sure they've been dating for a while, but because he proposed to her at the end of all this. So just cut to the chase. That's how it's going to end, because I don't really care about that. But he is taking her out and everything like that, and they're supposed to pick him up at the end of their night to go, so that way, Pete doesn't have to watch the complete time because he has work to do and everything like that. So he just had to watch them here and there while they're there watching their respective movie. So the night of the premiere comes, and all of a sudden certain things goes wrong, and then somehow Sean McGibbon, it goes missing. So, and with all these things going wrong, like and this whole situation with this old, I don't know if there was like a thing back in the day or not, because it never seemed like a thing in any movie theater I ever went to growing up, that there was this old lady who hounding Karen while she's running around the the theater place looking for her brother when he's getting up and he's with Pete, trying to find out why all these sabotages happening in this theater. And that's like, lady, and you never see her after a certain point ever again. Is she just there just to add more to like this joke where like she's trying to dodge this old lady with a vest on and says like, you know, theater sitter? It's like, lady, you know, find your own business. And it's like, you know, I've been in theaters, people have to get up, whereas little kids or grown adults, they have to get up, maybe go to the bathroom or whatever. I'm not sure. It's not like, you know, it's probably been cases when certain children get lost or whatever like that, but it's on, you know, the onus on the theater to let like the managers, so they can let the police know, so they can, you know, look out for so and so kid. But never mind all that. I'm just saying, like, this, the whole old lady was pointless to all this kind of stuff. But they all reconvene together while Pete's trying to wrangle all this stuff and get back with trying to impress his girl and try to get things handled in the theater. There's one theater when it's, you know, supposed to be about this hurricane. Somebody moved this big fan that's supposed to be used as a prop outside of the theater during the premiere as everybody starts showing up. Is somehow being moved in front of this in front of the silver screen, blowing in front of everybody. Don't know how nobody noticed. Some dude, because you see here and there some dude in a cloak, you know, swirling around the corners, giggling like an idiot. And of course, this is kind of based, the movie's kind of based off of Phantom of the Opera, which, you know, I haven't watched the Phantom of the Opera in its completion. I, you know, seen clips and stuff of it, so I know of it. And it's, you know, based off of some like grotesque looking man who hides in the theater, causing all this you know, sabotaging of the play and everything like that. Is kind of based off of that. Except this guy ain't grotesque, maybe grotesque at heart, but not not physically. But how is it that nobody sees this guy moving props in front of everybody and then allowing him to blow this giant fan in front of everybody? And this is where the comedy gets very corny, where, you know, Pete and the others comes rushing in around the corner and see this old lady. Look out, children! It's a tornado! I was like, this constitutes comedy? How old are you? Are you that dense? You really think it's a freaking tornado? Just because you was watching like a movie based off a hurricane, you see somebody dragging in a giant fucking fan, turn it on, and everybody's running out like fucking idiots, thinking it's an actual fucking tornado. Instead of going behind the thing and switching that freaking thing off, like Pete does, because Pete's not a freaking idiot. It was somebody surrounded by a bunch of idiots. Oh, don't get me started on the 10-year-old boy. Like, the only issue I have with the 10-year-old boy and the sisters to some extent. It's like they act all smug, like, see, you wouldn't survive without us. Shut up. You're not even Scooby Doo, but you're acting like you're, Scooby Doo. Like, you're a 10-year-old boy. Go sit yourself down. You're not that. You're not Velma. Calm the hell down. So they go through these suspects and who can possibly knows the ins and outs of this theater in order to be able to properly sabotage everything. So they think it's Movie Mason, but he has an alibi. And they think it's Merle, the projectionist, but they literally see the Phantom messing around with the fog machine in one of the other theaters, directly from his office. So, and all the while they two times they find Sean tied up somewhere. Then the premiere is about to come on, get going, and the balloons are supposed to fall at the grand opening. Turns out to be filled with they're a bunch of water balloons instead. And you see one of these the main stars of this movie that's about to premiere looks like a discount Vin Diesel, or at least Vin Diesel before Vin Diesel was popular. And it seems like a complete idiot. Like, he's totally oblivious to like the real world, outside of himself. Typical, I don't want to say egotistical, but it's like, it's like, I'm so famous, it's like nothing bothers me attitude. It's like I became an actor because I don't know math that well. So it's like, I don't have to use too much of my smarts. Then this actress involved in this film turns out to have lived in this town, and she met Movie Mason when she was a little girl going to this theater, and he encouraged her the love for movies, and encouraged her to become an actress. And she came for this premiere and walked arm in arm inside right in front of Sean, and he looking like a complete idiot. The fact that he has a famous friend and he probably just can't treat him any kind of way in front of her. So totally big coincidence, or at least of course it is. It just happened to look out that way because he's just an infectious, likable dude, because the movie requires him to be an infectious, likable dude, instead of tossing him out on his fucking ass. Or if he knows a famous person, have her to help him out or something, or whatever, because at least I don't know, there's many other options rather than squatting in this fucking theater. Anyway, so while Pete and his siblings on a roof, and he come to understanding that may have been letting my obsessions with work getting away with my childhood, and I appreciate you guys, blah blah blah. They get jumped on by the Phantom and tied up, and it's typical in Disney Channel movies where because it's a low budget film, so they get away with certain special effects by just flipping the fast forward button. And don't know why you need this in order to tie somebody up. Just tie them up, put the rope around them, but you gotta press the fast forward button. Someone like, oh, he must be super fast or something like that. But anyway, they end up getting out of it, and thanks to Pete grabbing a prop sword and taking down this inflated balloon dragon, and then going behind the silver screen and taking on the Phantom, and they burst through the screen, and Sean unmasks him like it's freaking Scooby-Doo, And lo and behold, it's actually Sean. Sean was the Phantom this whole time. And it turns out, Sean had a grievance with Nehemiah. The fact that, because not only Nehemiah passed him up on the job that he worked his butt off to acquire, but at insult to injury, he constantly get his name wrong. He called him McRubin, whatever, and it's like, and he just, get everything off his chest right in there. McKibben, for once in your life, get it right. And it's like, God, it's, like this dude wind up so freaking tight. And it just, you just let him have it. And of course he's fired, obviously. But don't know why nobody calls the freaking cops on this guy. Because it may not, actually, cause any physical harm to anybody. But at the most, he called like crap, I just had this. With just like, destruction of property, and mischief or something like that. It's all stacks up to misdemeanor stuff. But he still should have probably got arrested. Acts of vandalism. That's it. He still done acts of vandalism, which I guess some stuff, people could have gotten hurt. That's still, I'm not like a lawyer or anything like that, but the fact that he turned on like a massive fan to have things blowing in everybody's face, that's still assault. And then like these giant balloons, balloon animal figures, somebody could have gotten suffocated or crushed by this stuff. Then the water balloons, sure, they're not lethal, but it's still unwanted stuff happened to a person's body. It's just like somebody spitting on another person. That's still assault. And like you can attribute water balloons to something like that. So yeah, these are a bunch of misdemeanors that racks up to like acts of vandalism, certain level of assault, and you could argue attempted murder, but a good lawyer can probably like get that tacked off, because whatever, nobody really died or anything like that. But the fact that somebody could have gotten suffocated by those giant animal balloons is a thing. But it all panned out for him, because now this high bald-headed wannabe Van Diesel guy, hired him as like a, what is it? Partnership as the director of Midnight Mayhem, to make a movie about his exploits as the Phantom, and title it Phantom of the Megaplex. So I guess it pans out for Sean, but he still should be brought on certain charges. But anyway, like I said, things pan out for the mom and the boyfriend, who eventually showed up after things kind of went topsy-turvy with the date, whatever. And Pete does get the girl, but he gets offered to Sean's position at the Megaplex, but he turns it down because he just wants to enjoy his childhood, and he has, as his mom said, he got the rest of his life to work, but he can kind of ease up as a kid and enjoy his childhood a bit, because he is just 17. But yeah, that, and then like the movie ends with Movie Mason telling Scary Terry, it's like there was never any like Phantom of the Megaplex, but the Wolf of the Megaplex, that's another story. And Scary Terry is about to close the doors, and she hears like a wolf howl in the distance. Of course, they would never make a, you would think they kind of lead into like a sequel, but it's just like a scare bait thing. But the movie ends there. honestly, this movie obviously has some problems. Many of the Disney Channel films that we enjoy growing up have their, glaring issues, but it's those issues also offer some level of charm to it that we still grow to love to this day. It's fun to revisit this movie because I actually do dig Phantom of the Megaplex and many other Disney Channel films centered around Halloween, more so than anything else. Aside from a few outliers like Smart House, which I really want to revisit Smart House actually. Given the fact that about AI and Siri and everything like that going on, and you got like those Ring cameras, we live in a world where smart house could be a thing, and it's like, oh my god, now I'm thinking about it, it's like that's wild to me. And the only difference is we don't have like Peg Bundy as the voice, which I'm surprised this never was a thing. That's wild to me. But the next movie I will be reviewing in a few minutes is Don't Look Under the Bed. And yeah, I'm gonna set at least a couple of movies for next year for Halloween to review. Because I do want to revisit certain films from the Disney Channel era, because it's actually some cool stuff. But yeah, I will see you guys soon. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment below, let me know what you think of Phantom of the Megaplex, and are there certain Disney Channel movies that you want me to review? Because I think, yeah, last year I actually did a review of HE Double Hockey Sticks, starring Will Ferrell and one of the Lawrence brothers. Not Joey Lawrence, I know that, but one of his other brothers. I did review that, so it's on my channel, so you can definitely watch my thoughts on that film. But yeah, let me know, is there certain Disney Channel movies you want me to cover for the channel? Because it'd be fun to review certain things that I haven't seen in like almost, because this movie is like 23 years old. That is wild to me. Anyway, I will see y'all soon. Take care.